Hi all, in today's video we're looking at the French knot. This can be seen as a Dalton stitch, but once mastered it's very versatile. I remember struggling for this stitch for years until someone showed me a different way of doing the stitch. There's a couple of different ways you can do this, but today I'm going to show you the way I learnt to do the stitch. Instead it took me ages to get it done. If you do really struggle with doing French knots, you can easily substitute it for a colonial stitch, which is a very similar knotting stitch, or even something like a bead. And this stitch, as I said, is classed as a knotted stitch, which belongs to a family such as the bullion knot, crewel stitch, and as I said, the colonial knot. The French knot has served many purposes throughout the history of embroidery. If you were to visit a textile museum, you'll quickly see how this small, simple knot is so versatile, and it's been a staple in design work for clothing, crafts, and many more places. In the mid-20th century, French knots kind of came out of the domestic closet and began to be seen more widely in the fashion and art world. This elegant knot never really goes out of fashion. As with most stitches, it's kind of unclear how this kind of came to be known as the French knot. Some popular theories kind of believe it's a bit like the old term French fries. It's not actually the French, but as it was widely used in French needlework, it's kind of considered to be a French knot. It's a very versatile knot and can be used to create entire pieces, as you can see here. If you've been following my Facebook page, you'll be seeing updates of this, as this is the current work in process. I was inspired to do this all in one piece by reading this book, French Knot and Pictures, by Christine Harris. It's a fabulous book. It actually does have a project in here of a garden, which is kind of what gave me the idea to do this piece you're seeing today. Okay, so let's go through them up. Of course, first of all, you want to bring the thread up where you want the knot to take place. Then you take the thread and wrap it around twice around the needle. Now the tip here is you want to make sure this thread that you're still holding is kept really nice and tight. That's pretty much the main thing of keeping the knot in one piece. You want to make sure the needle goes back into a bit of fabric that's nearby. You don't want to go back through the same hole, otherwise you're going to lose the knot. And if you go too far away, the knot's going to be lopsided. And again, with the amount of loops, you only want to do about 2, maybe 3, anything more, and it kind of makes the knot a bit lopsided. So still keeping this finger down on that loose bit of thread, keeping that nice and tight. Just take your other hand and bring that needle through, and then just bring the thread through with it until you get to the end of the thread, like that. And that is your French knot. Okay, so again we'll bring the thread up, wrap the thread round twice. Again, don't worry about bringing the needle too far away from the fabric to start with, because you're going to pull down on this thread to bring it down. Place the needle where you want the knot to be anchored. Again, still making sure this hand is keeping that thread nice and tight. And just pull the needle through, as well as the rest of the thread. It's worth noting you don't want to work with too long a thread like this, because after all, the thread does get knotted terribly at the back. I've got quite a few loops going on at the moment. But there we have 2 little French knots done. It's also worth practicing it a couple times before you want to try it on the piece. That's what something I used to do if I had a little card that I was working on. I just do a couple off to the side in some spare thread that I had until I felt confident enough that I could do, say, 2 little ones just for the eyes.